Miskeen Jordan Peterson's in the hospital, I think.
No,
or
I saw
something.
that. I saw that on Twitter. Yeah. She
Should we feel bad or should we not? Like, how do we feel about this?
Look,
He's a human being.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you feel bad necessarily. Like,
look,
like,
he got to a point where he gained the Muslim audience, and then he like super after that comment.
He was at one point very popular with Muslims. Like, he had a kind of an arc.
Yeah.
The Jordan Peterson as an arc must be studied. Because this is something very interesting. Things happened during the what we know now, what most Muslims know now, is the guy who said, "Give him hell, Netanyahu."
Yeah.
And basically, after that, we saw the decimation of Gaza and so forth. So he's a guy who basically strongly aligned himself with Zionism against Islam and the Muslimin. But I was there in University of Toronto when he started.
Oh yeah, I remember those days.
He was a professor at the university, and this was basically when the trans rights movement was like really in its golden age, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he said, like, in response to the Canadian law, I'm not gonna be forced to say ze, zer, or they, them, or he, him, or whatever. Like, I'm gonna use whatever pronouns I want. That's what he basically said. And this is fascism. This is basically postmodern neo-Marxism.
Go Jordan.
Yeah,
like that was us at that time.
He became to be seen as kind of a defender of common sense. He came to be seen as a defender of a little kind of not really even conservatism, but more like he called himself a British liberal. So a defender of like Enlightenment values, modernism, and he seemed to be like a fresh alternative to the postmodernist way society was heading. Okay, and so his kind of opposition to some of the more extreme forms of liberalism and postmodernism that were emerging gained him an audience with Muslims. The other reason he got really popular with Muslims is that he had this message for young men, which was like, everybody always keeps talking about your rights, but I'm gonna talk to you about your responsibility, your duty as a man. You basically sacrificing yourself for something bigger. And Muslims, unfortunately, they're not spoken to this way. We're always, like, Muslim speakers are always basically either defending Islam from Islamophobic accusations, or they're talking about like Islam is great because it offers people this or offers people that. But rarely do we hear the mission of Islam, of establishing God's law, articulated, and basically like your responsibility as a man towards your family, towards your society, and towards the world. That big vision, right? And I'm not saying like that's like something that was totally non-existent, especially at the family level.
Everyone's in their own bubble, though. Yeah, I get it.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
but like this was something that was really non-existent when in broader, let's say, Western society. This kind of a message.
Yeah.
So he got popular on that basis.
Yeah.
And it was really a big gap that he filled. The other thing that made him really popular is that during the Me Too movement, he had that interview with that Vice reporter where he's like, maybe men and women shouldn't work together.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Maybe women shouldn't come to work wearing makeup, right? And like this was so far outside like the Western Overton window. It was like, what the heck is this? People were like,
throwing him off.
My God, I saw an account. They dressed up Jordan Peterson as a mufti with like the big beard and the shimagh, and they basically wrote posts. And you had to guess, was this from like an Islamic cleric or was it from Jordan Peterson? Because it got to that level where like Jordan Peterson, he's basically become like the Taliban, right? Over this women. And Muslims were like, look, here's like a respectable, intelligent, eloquent, Western white academic who's essentially realizing some things that Islam has always been saying.
Yeah.
So that
was
the vibe.
It resonated with us, yeah. So he reached this peak and then
Then he began like these dialogues with Muslims. So he had this interview with Hamza Yusuf.
Yeah.
And that was like some bunch of philosophical mumbo jumbo.
Is this the one where he's like, it depends what you mean. What do you mean by how? What do you mean?
I think that was a different
Muhammad Hijab.
So they had three. One with Hamza Yusuf, one with a one-on-one with Muhammad Hijab, and one two-on-two, him with somebody else and Muhammad Hijab and Hamza sources.
Yeah.
I think that was the one where he like, they tried to corner him on do you believe in God and he basically
what do you mean by
like,
do? What do you mean by you? Yeah. What do you mean by believe? What do you mean by God? Yeah, like I remember that.
And the funny thing about him, and I noticed this at the time, is like he's so against postmodernism, and yet he takes a postmodern perspective on God.
Yeah.
Like it's totally like his perspective and his belief in God is totally postmodern.
Yeah. So at this point, do we say Allah guide him? Because there were some comments he made. There were some.
When
comments
do we say Allah guide a person or not? I don't know why not.
Look. He said, give him hell, Netanyahu, when this whole genocide started.
So after this whole, him basically making these overtures to Muslims, he made a video called "Message to Muslims."
I remember that one.
That was like the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah,
with the Muslimin.
Yeah.
Because Muslims saw that and they're like, "You patronizing POS, what are you talking about? You're basically like putting all the blame on us. You would never make a message to Jews. Like you're as though like now our issues and you have some like boilerplate liberal talking points, patronize Muslims, and he even told them to like accept things like the Abraham Accords. You and the Jews and the Christians, we all just need to hold hands together in harmony.
Yeah.
Totally ignoring like the geopolitical reality of the Middle East. Basically thinking that now he's gonna come and be like,
he's the one telling us.
He thinks he can be this like a kumbaya kind of ambassador.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. That's not how we need to be spoken to. The Muslims, and I think it was a good reminder for Muslims. We need to rely on our own people to kind of lead our own thought.
Yeah.
We always have this tendency to look for non-Muslims who resonate with some aspects of Islamic thinking and like attach ourselves to them.
Well, do you blame them? Because like, look, we don't have leaders. We don't have the right leaders.
It is a fault on basically like thought leadership among especially English-speaking Muslims who are not stepping up enough. So after that, Jordan Peterson kind of has, I don't remember if the benzodiazepine arc happens before this, but Jordan Peterson essentially goes into a medically induced coma in Russia.
Yeah.
In order to kind of get off his benzo addiction. He comes back from that like quite a bit later. He's never really the same.
That's what messed
Yeah,
him
no,
up.
he addled his brain with drugs.
Yeah.
And he pursued extremely invasive medical procedures. After that, he became part of Daily Wire.
Isn't that things run by
Ben Shapiro? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why he needed that. I don't know that he necessarily beforehand aligned with their mission, but clearly.
Well, when he said "give him hell,"
yeah, no, like
that tweet.
Oh, absolutely. He became a parody of himself.
Yeah.
He went from self-help, conquer your inner dragon. He went from like this kind of inspirational voice to young men to being just like the most aggressive, close-minded, neoconservative war hawk.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from? Like, you see the Jordan Peterson of 2024 and the Jordan Peterson of 2016 or 2017 or 2018.
Two different people.
Oh, very different in terms of the topics they focused on, in terms of his kind of outlook toward the world, in terms of his openness.
Yeah.
Became a very closed person. But it goes to show basically like people can go from zero to hero.
Back to zero.
Back to zero.
So what happened with Iblis? Shaitan.
Yeah. The guy went from like zero to hero with like the wave he rode in 2016. And now he's like universally reviled, man. Like everybody sees this guy as a charlatan, a fake, a sellout. And it's because, he didn't conquer his own inner demons. He wasn't able to get over basically his own, when the da'wah was given to him and he rejected it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leads people down, especially when they intensify and become bitter enemies of Islam.
Yeah. No, I definitely think he was like a kind of like, how those evangelicals are very strong supporters, the Christian evangelicals are strong supporters of the genocide state.
Yeah.
So then the question is now,
they're calling it a spiritual disease.
Yeah, like the question is now, how should we feel about like he's not doing right? He's not doing well. So did you see this post by Michaela, his daughter?
Which one?
Hey, as you know, Jordan Peterson has been really sick. A lot of people have been asking for updates, so here's one. He's recovering slowly day by day, but I won't lie, it's slow and scary. He won't be back for another few months at least, probably longer. We're not entirely sure what's going on, but it looks like possibly severe CIRS and a lot of bad luck. Is it bad luck? You kind of wished hell upon an innocent people, right?
Yeah.
Or at least a lot of innocent children and youth and women and subhanAllah. Or we're getting spiritually attacked. This is the interesting part. Spiritually attacked.
Yeah.
Or both. To be perfectly honest, I think a lot of this is spiritual. So anyway, she goes on and
kind of like telling
she mentions
yourself.
she mentions something from the Bible as well, like a quote from the Bible. But like spiritual attack, like is she can you get hasad if you're a kafir?
I don't know. Like is it ayn? Is it the evil eye? But like for me, it's kind of saying it's a spiritual attack. What does that mean? Like you're kind of telling on yourself that you are messing with the forces of good, so God has come to strike you down.
Oh, but see, they're framing it as the other way around. Like they're the forces of good.
But if you're the force of good, you're not going to come under spiritual attack.
Well,
Allah protects the people of good.
Well, there is still some spiritual attacks, bro. Like you have to be honest. Like, you know, people get jinn possession. People get
the ayn, I think, is something that, if I'm not mistaken, it's not something that can only happen to Muslims.
Yeah, true. Facts. Yeah. Maybe it's a source of guidance for the person, you know, that like, hey, listen, there are not divine. There are unseen supernatural forces. So you need to, and
you
that's
know what's interesting is actually it reminded me, Tucker Carlson claimed to be mauled by a demon.
What?
Like he claimed that basically like, oh, I'm in bed in my cottage with my wife and my 4 dogs, and that's disgusting. Sleeping with 4. But anyway, he's like, in the nighttime I started hearing a noise and my dog started barking at something. I didn't know what it was, and then suddenly I start getting mauled. Like these like scratches on my back, like this huge. And he's like, all my dogs were sleeping. I don't think the dog was barking actually. I think all the dogs were sleeping, and he's like, I think I was attacked by a demon. I'm like, bro,
what?
It's probably one of the dogs. You're sleeping with 4 freaking dogs and you get clawed. And but anyway, like what's interesting is like what's kind of happening as a trend here among this right wing is that they're more comfortable about speculating and asserting the unseen.
No, they're actually, and I would think also they're actually using the Bible and they're using Christianity to pull people back towards it.
Yeah, like this was not common at all even 5 years ago. Like we were still kind of in, there's kind of a pull away from materialism. People are becoming more comfortable again with speaking about the spiritual and the unseen. Tucker Carlson, now Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson. I expect this to become a trend. That's what interests me the most. Not necessarily like, okay, what is the reality of Jordan Peterson's disease? Allah, diseases whomever he wills and cures whomever he wills.
Yeah.
Whatever happened there, whatever it was, right? But what I'm interested by is actually that she would think that. And actually that people, and she wouldn't say that unless she knew people would respond to it, right?
Yeah.
It's not taboo anymore.
I don't think she actually thinks it, bro. Like you've seen her before. You've seen
or
her
at least
talks, you know?
That people are now,
she's trying to use it, I feel.
It's in vogue to use that, to talk like that. Yeah.
That's what I think. Regardless, look, may Allah guide him through this disease. SubhanAllah, you know, there's so much you can say.
The guy had his chance. There was a moment there where he could have been like an Andrew Tate kind of thing where he converts to Islam, even though I don't really see Andrew Tate really repping anymore. Jordan Peterson could have been like what could have been, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses whom he wills. He doesn't need anybody for his deen. He doesn't need anybody for his da'wah.
Yeah.